Welcome, the rare gems. The moment a woman stops moving on command, she stops belonging to the world and starts belonging to herself. There's something different about certain women. You can feel it before you can explain it. They don't panic when others panic. They don't chase what everyone else is chasing, and they don't fold just because the world expects them to. These are the women society quietly fears and secretly respects. These are Sigma females. A Sigma female is the type of woman the Matrix struggles to understand. She doesn't respond to fake urgency. She doesn't bend for approval. Her mind isn't distracted by noise or trends. While most people are busy trying to fit in, she's busy trying to stay true to herself. And the ironic part is this: the more she chooses herself, the harder she becomes to influence. You might see pieces of yourself here. The way you pause when others rush. The way you think instead of react. The way pressure makes you sharper instead of weaker. That isn't coldness. That isn't stubbornness. It's clarity. It's inner strength. It's the mark of a woman who refuses to play a game she didn't choose. This video is going to show you exactly why the Matrix can't control a woman like you. It will highlight the traits you carry, the instincts you've always had, and the reasons you stand out even when you don't try to. So watch this video to the end, not for entertainment, but for confirmation of the kind of power you've been walking around with without even knowing it. Let's dive into it, the rare gems. Number 1. She has a truth. She lives by, not a script she follows. Most people do not even realize they are living inside a script. They follow the same patterns they were taught as children. They copy what they see online. They adopt opinions that are not truly theirs. They shape themselves to fit expectations they never agreed to. This is exactly how the Matrix works. It hands out ready-made identities like costumes, and most people wear them without question. But the Sigma female is different. She feels uncomfortable the moment someone tries to hand her a script. She refuses to act in a way that contradicts her inner compass. She will not let society tell her how a woman should behave, how relationships should look, or what success is supposed to mean. She has her own truth, and she trusts it more than any outside voice. Her truth is not loud. It is not rebellious for the sake of rebellion. It is calm, steady, almost quiet. It sits deep inside her, shaping her choices, her boundaries, and her path. This truth tells her when something is wrong, even if everyone else says it is fine. It tells her when to walk away, even when the world expects her to stay. It tells her who to give her energy to, and who does not deserve a second more of her time. The Matrix cannot control someone like this, because control needs confusion. It needs people who doubt themselves. It needs people who look outward for direction. She does the opposite. She looks inward. Before she takes a step, she checks if the step matches her truth. If it does not, she stops without apology. That is why she cannot be programmed. Scripts only work on people who leave themselves empty. She is full of self-awareness, full of intuition, full of quiet certainty. She is not waiting for someone to tell her who she is. She already knows. And when a woman knows who she is, truly knows it without shaking, the Matrix loses all power over her. It cannot lure her, scare her, or shape her. She chooses her own path, and she does it with a confidence that makes the whole world adjust to her. Number 2. She doesn't fear being the odd one out. There is a quiet kind of power in a woman who is not afraid to stand alone. Most people will do anything to avoid being the odd one out. They adjust their voice, their opinions, their entire personality just to blend in. They fear isolation so much that they willingly trade their identity for acceptance. That is exactly how the Matrix keeps people obedient. It makes them believe that being different means being wrong. But the Sigma female does not see isolation through that lens. She is not terrified by the idea of standing apart from the crowd. In fact, a part of her feels more alive when she is separate, because that space gives her room to breathe and room to think. Being the odd one out is not a punishment for her. It is her comfort zone. It is where she reconnects with her truth without the noise of the world trying to shape her. She does not chase the safety of belonging, because she knows belonging built on pretending is not real. She would rather be alone with her honesty than surrounded by people who want her to shrink. And the moment a woman reaches this level of inner security, she becomes incredibly hard to influence. You cannot control someone who does not fear losing the crowd. You cannot pressure someone who has already found peace in her own company. The Matrix expects people to panic when they feel different. It expects them to run back to the group for comfort. But she does not run. She stands still. She observes. She figures out her next move on her own terms. Her independence of thought grows strongest in the very place others feel the weakest. What makes her truly unshakable is that she does not treat solitude as a temporary state. She treats it as a familiar environment, a place where she can hear her intuition clearly. This mindset protects her from manipulation because she does not need external approval to feel whole. She does not fear being the odd one out because she understands something simple but powerful. The crowd does not define her. The noise does not guide her. And isolation is not a threat when you are complete within yourself. Number 3. She has a private world no one can access. There is something deeply unsettling to the Matrix about a woman who keeps a part of herself untouchable. Most people live with their minds wide open. They overshare. They explain everything they feel. They seek constant feedback. They want the world to understand them so badly that they leave nothing private. This makes them easy to read and, in the long run, easy to control. The Sigma female is the complete opposite. She carries a private inner world that no one is allowed to enter, not even those closest to her. This inner world is where her real thoughts live, the ones she does not explain to anyone. It is where her dreams grow in silence and where her ambition sharpens itself away from distraction. It is the place that defines her, yet only she knows what is inside. The Matrix cannot influence what it cannot see. It cannot predict what it cannot study. It cannot reshape what it cannot touch. Her private world becomes her shield. People may know her presence, her strength, or her personality, but they never truly know her core, and that makes her nearly impossible to manipulate. She protects this inner space without ever announcing it. She does it naturally, almost effortlessly. She does not spill her plans to impress anyone. She does not share her pain for sympathy. She does not reveal her dreams hoping someone will validate them. She moves in silence because her inner world is valuable to her, and she refuses to let the wrong energy contaminate it. This private space keeps her grounded. It keeps her focused. It helps her make decisions without pressure from outside noise. While others look outward for direction, she looks inward and finds everything she needs right there. People may think she is mysterious, guarded, or hard to read. But she is not hiding to be difficult. She is preserving the part of herself that keeps her free, the part the Matrix cannot track or predict. And as long as that inner world remains hers alone, she stays untouchable, unshakable, and beyond the reach of any system that wants to limit her. Number 4. She thinks before she absorbs. Most people do not realize how quickly they absorb information. They hear something once, and it becomes their belief. They scroll through social media, and the opinions they see begin to shape their own, without them even noticing. The world counts on this. The Matrix stays in control by feeding the masses ideas that are easy to digest, and even easier to manipulate. People behave like sponges, soaking up everything around them without questioning the source or the intention behind it. The Sigma female does not operate this way at all. She does not absorb anything on first contact. She pauses, she observes, she examines, she thinks before she lets anything enter her mind. It is not because she is slow or doubtful. It is because she respects her mind enough to protect it. Her mind works like a scientist in a quiet lab. Every piece of information gets tested. She checks the motive, the logic, the tone, the intention. She watches patterns in what people say and what they avoid saying. She evaluates whether the truth is being spoken or whether she is being guided toward a certain reaction. Her internal lie detector does not rely on emotion. It relies on clarity, instinct, and memory. This is why she rarely gets manipulated. She sees the trick long before it reaches her. She notices when someone is exaggerating. She notices when a story does not line up. She notices when the energy behind the words feels wrong, and she will not absorb it just because it sounds convincing or popular. The Matrix fears a woman like this because she cannot be influenced through simple messaging. She is not moved by the general narrative. She is not easily swayed by trends or public opinion. She treats every idea as something that must earn its place in her mind, not something that deserves it automatically. What makes her exceptional is that she knows information is power, but only when chosen wisely. She chooses what to allow in and what to reject, and by doing so, she keeps her mind sharp, clean, and impossible to program. Number 5. There is one thing the Matrix fears more than intelligence, confidence, or strength. It fears a person who can walk away, a person who does not cling, does not beg, does not crumble when something ends. And this is exactly why the Sigma female becomes a threat the moment she decides to live on her own terms. She understands something most people never learn. Freedom is not something you fight for at the last minute. Freedom is a lifestyle. It is her baseline. Most people stay in places that drain them because they are attached. They stay in jobs that kill their spirit because they fear starting over. They stay in relationships that no longer grow because they fear being alone. They stay in friend groups that do not respect them because they fear losing the crowd. This attachment makes them easy to control. All the Matrix needs to do is threaten their comfort, and they fold. The Sigma female responds in the opposite way. If something disrespects her peace, she leaves. If someone crosses her boundaries, she exits without negotiation. If the environment becomes toxic, she is gone before the toxicity becomes normal. She does not stay to prove a point. She does not stay to protect her ego. She does not stay to keep up appearances. She walks away because she refuses to be owned by anything that is not aligned with her truth. This ability shakes the system to its core. Control only works when someone is afraid to lose what they have. But she is not afraid of endings. She welcomes endings when they open the door to a healthier beginning. Her heart does not get trapped by routine. Her identity does not get glued to roles or titles. She knows she can rebuild, and she trusts her ability to start again. And here is the part most people do not understand. She does not walk away because she is cold. She walks away because she is loyal to her soul. When a woman reaches this level of inner strength, she becomes ungovernable. The Matrix cannot threaten her, bribe her, or pressure her. She holds the power because she knows she can stand alone and still be complete. That is real freedom, and she lives in it every day. Number 6. She questions the source before the message. Most people accept information at face value. If the message sounds convincing, emotional, or urgent, they immediately react to it. They judge the content, but never pause long enough to question where that content came from or why it was delivered in the first place. This is exactly how the Matrix maintains influence. It distracts people with polished words while hiding the real motive behind them. The Sigma female refuses to fall for that. Before she allows any message to touch her mind, she studies the source with the same seriousness someone would use when examining a contract. She does not get blinded by emotional packaging or dramatic delivery. Instead, she asks the questions that most people never think to ask. Why is this being said now? What does this person gain if I believe it? What is being left out? What tone is being used and why? These questions guide her more than any impressive speech ever could. This habit makes her incredibly difficult to manipulate. She understands that people can disguise lies with confidence. She knows that a message can sound good while having a harmful intention behind it. She pays attention to the messenger's patterns, not their performance. She watches their body language, their history, their inconsistencies, and their agenda. And once she sees the intention, the message loses its power over her. This is why the Matrix cannot get to her. She is not easily impressed. She is not emotionally triggered into quick decisions. She does not trust information simply because everyone else does. She wants to know who is speaking, why they are speaking, and what they hope to shape in her by speaking. Her mind works like a spotlight that exposes hidden motives long before the message has the chance to sink in. And the truth is simple. When a woman understands intention, she becomes immune to manipulation. Words alone cannot move her. Emotional pressure cannot sway her. Public opinion cannot corner her. She does not follow the message. She follows the truth behind it. And that truth is what keeps her unprogrammed, unpredictable, and completely out of the Matrix's reach. Number 7. She spots conditioning before it works. Most people do not notice conditioning until it has already shaped them. They wake up one day and realize they tolerate things they once swore they never would. They accept disrespect. They feel guilty for having boundaries. They depend on approval just to feel worthy. This slow erosion of self-respect is how the Matrix gets control. It does not attack loudly. It rewires people quietly, one small compromise at a time. But the Sigma female is difficult to rewire because she sees the conditioning long before it begins to settle in. She has a sharp instinct for patterns that do not feel right. The moment someone starts repeating certain phrases, pushing certain ideas, or introducing behaviors that seem harmless but feel slightly off, she notices. She pays attention not just to what is happening, but why it is happening. She senses intention before most people even see behavior. She can recognize when someone is trying to normalize disrespect by turning it into a joke or brushing it off as not a big deal. She notices when someone tries to build dependency by positioning themselves as the only solution to her problems. She catches the subtle tone shifts, the emotional manipulation, the guilt traps, the small comments meant to plant insecurity. She sees the foundation of the conditioning before the first brick is fully laid. This ability protects her from falling into psychological traps that most people do not see until it is too late. The Matrix relies on repetition. It relies on unnoticed pressure. It relies on patterns blending into someone's everyday life. But with her, repetition does not work because she pays attention. Pressure fails because she questions its purpose. Patterns fall apart because she spotlights them before they can disguise themselves as normal. What makes her truly unmanageable is that she trusts her discomfort. If something feels wrong, she does not wait for proof. She does not need 3 warnings. She listens to her intuition the first time. And because she reacts early, conditioning never gets the chance to shape her behavior. She sees the programming while it is still forming. And that simple awareness keeps her free. Number 8. Her pain doesn't make her obedient. Most people do not realize how dangerous pain can be when it is misunderstood. Pain usually softens people, breaks them down, and pushes them into obedience. It teaches them to avoid, to comply, to lower their standards just to survive. This is exactly how the Matrix keeps people in line. It uses fear, loss, rejection, and disappointment to manipulate and control behavior. Most people fold under it, letting their pain dictate their choices. The Sigma female is different. Pain does not make her obedient. It does not weaken her. It does not make her chase approval or shrink herself to fit someone else's expectations. Instead, she treats pain like data, like a signal telling her what needs to change, what to protect, and where the boundaries lie. She turns every setback, betrayal, and heartbreak into insight. Every difficult moment teaches her something about people, about the world, and about herself. She does not repeat the cycles that created her suffering. She does not blindly follow patterns that failed her in the past. If something hurt her once, she adjusts her strategy. She watches, learns, and moves with sharper clarity. Pain becomes a teacher, not a jailer. Where most people collapse under pressure, she grows stronger, smarter, and more self-aware. This is why she cannot be controlled. Systems, manipulation, and social pressures rely on pain to create compliance. They depend on fear, regret, and longing to bend people to their will. But she refuses to be molded by her wounds. She transforms them into tools for independence. She uses pain to build resilience, awareness, and intuition that the Matrix cannot predict or penetrate. And here is the deeper truth. She is not hardened in a way that makes her cold. She is precise, intentional, and wise. Her pain sharpens her, giving her the power to navigate life without being a victim. Where most people are weakened, she becomes untouchable. Her suffering becomes the reason she is free, unshakable, and impossible to manipulate. The Matrix loses its grip because she has learned the only lesson it cannot teach. Pain does not create obedience. Pain creates freedom. Number 9. External pressure. Doesn't override her logic. Most people do not realize how much external pressure shapes their decisions. Deadlines, criticism, judgment, and social expectations push them into panic. They cave, make mistakes, compromise their values, or follow paths they do not truly want. This is exactly how the Matrix keeps control. It knows that stress makes people reactive, emotional, and easier to manipulate. When the world presses hard, most people bend. The Sigma female responds differently. Pressure does not cloud her thinking. It does not make her panic or compromise her principles. Instead, it sharpens her. When everyone else is rushing, panicking, or spiraling, she becomes colder in the sense that she distances herself from unnecessary emotion. She becomes clearer because she focuses only on what matters. She becomes sharper because she sees solutions and consequences that others overlook in their chaos. Stress is not a weapon against her. It is a tool she uses to her advantage. A high-pressure situation does not make her reactive. It makes her analytical. She observes who is acting out of fear, who is bluffing, and what is truly at stake. While others lose themselves in emotion, she isolates the facts, the patterns, and the truth behind every move. Her mind thrives in this environment because she refuses to let external tension dictate her choices. This is why she cannot be controlled. People who cave under pressure are predictable. Their fears can be leveraged. Their mistakes can be anticipated. She is none of these things. She does not fear consequences the way others do because she trusts her logic above social expectation, above manipulation, above noise. Her calm precision makes her unshakable. While the Matrix tries to bend people through chaos, she uses the same chaos to see the real game. Pressure does not weaken her, it reveals her strength. Stress does not scramble her thoughts, it aligns them. And in a world designed to push people off balance, Her ability to stay rational under pressure is the invisible force that keeps her free, ungovernable, and beyond reach. Number 10. She sees through fake urgency. Most people live life in a constant rush, reacting to alarms, notifications, deadlines, and pressures that often have nothing to do with their real priorities. The Matrix thrives on this speed. It keeps people busy, distracted, and exhausted so they cannot think clearly. It pushes fake urgencies that make ordinary moments feel like emergencies, making people obey, comply, and make mistakes. Most people fall right into the trap, moving fast because everyone else is moving fast. The Sigma female does not play that game. She sees the urgency for what it is, manufactured. She notices when people are trying to pressure her into decisions that benefit someone else or distract her from her own goals. When the world screams, "Hurry," she slows down. She observes. She evaluates. She refuses to move just because the crowd is panicking. This ability gives her power. While others react impulsively, she acts deliberately. While others get trapped in the frenzy, she finds clarity. She can spot manipulation, hidden agendas, and unnecessary chaos before it touches her. She does not allow the outside world to dictate her pace because she knows that speed without awareness leads to mistakes, regret, and control. Her calm, in a frantic world, is also a signal to others that she is not easily influenced. People may try to pressure her with urgency, but she responds only when she decides it is necessary. That is what makes her unpredictable and ungovernable. The Matrix depends on people following the herd, but she is never in it. She has learned to step aside, slow down, and think first, which makes her impossible to herd like the rest. This is why she always feels a step ahead. While everyone else is chasing false emergencies, she is moving toward real opportunities. She acts with intention while the crowd acts on illusion. She does not fear being out of sync because she knows that rushing has never been a measure of worth. And in a world designed to control speed, her ability to stop, pause, and see clearly is a kind of freedom most people will never experience. In final words, some women move differently because they finally learned the cost of moving like everyone else. If you've been listening closely, you already know something deep about yourself. You don't fit into the system because you were never built to be shaped by it. You question too much, you think too deeply, and you refuse to react just because someone wants a reaction. That alone separates you from a world that survives on distraction and pressure. A Sigma female isn't created by trends or trauma or attention. She's formed by clarity, by the quiet moments where she chose logic over noise, by the calm decisions she made when everyone else panicked, by the truth she refused to swallow even when it made her stand alone. This is why the Matrix can't control her. She doesn't chase validation, so she can't be bribed. She doesn't fear solitude, so she can't be cornered. And she doesn't depend on the crowd, so she can't be herded. Her mind is her home, and no one gets to rearrange the furniture. If you saw yourself in these points, it's not an accident. It's a confirmation. You're not difficult. You're not detached. You're not too much or too distant. You're simply awake. And that awareness is your power. Protect it. Sharpen it. Don't shrink it to make anyone comfortable. Keep trusting your logic, your pace, your intuition, because they're the very things that keep you free while others don't even realize they're trapped. Stay awake, stay intentional, and trust the woman you're becoming. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.